Well, good morning, guys. It's Pastor Andy, and I want to thank you for joining me for devotions again today. I've been stuck in this little section here in the Sermon on the Mount about anger, and God just keeps tearing me apart with it. And I want us to talk about it again today. I'm going to read it for us. Matthew chapter 5, verse 21. You have heard that our ancestors were told, you must not murder. If you commit murder, you are subject to judgment. But I say, if you are even angry with someone, you are subject to judgment. If you call someone an idiot, you're in danger of being brought before the court. And if you curse someone, you're in danger of the fires of hell. So if you are presenting a sacrifice at the altar in the temple and you suddenly remember that someone has something against you, leave your sacrifice there at the altar, go be reconciled to that person, then come and offer your sacrifice to God. When you're on the way to court with your adversary, settle your differences quickly. Otherwise, your accuser may hand you over to the judge, who will hand you over to an officer, and you will be thrown into prison. And if that happens, you surely won't be free again until you have paid the last penny. This section starts off talking about anger and how when we get mad at people, how we can, where it's almost relayed as anger and then murder. Anger, something that starts on the inside, can lead to acts of violence. And so we got to be very careful not to allow anger. But then he goes a step further. We can't ignore our anger. We can't push it down and just pretend it's not there. We've got to deal with it. But just because I'm not an angry person and outwardly get mad at everybody doesn't mean that my heart's right. You see, he goes to the next level. He says, I said, don't be angry. And then he says, don't call people an idiot. You see, anger is dangerous and it's wrong, but calling somebody an idiot is the word that's used there is different. This has to do more with contempt. It's like calling someone an idiot. The word that's used there is reka in the Greek, and it's like a clearing of the throat. That whatever. It's putting somebody down. They're not even worth my anger. They're not worth my time. They're not worth my anything. They're subhuman. And we still do this today. We still act like this today in different areas. We don't clear our throat at people or things like that sometimes, but we act like that towards people who we disagree with politically. We act like people that are of a different ethnic background than us sometimes. Somebody who has a different economic status or a different religion, or someone who may be struggling with their sexuality. Yeah. We treat them differently, and we put people down and devalue them because they're different or they don't agree with us, and because we're always right, and everybody who doesn't agree with me is wrong. So therefore, they can't be human. They can't even have my time. I was reading this week about Justice Scalia, and people on both sides of the aisle really respected this guy, whether you agreed with him or not. And in an interview, this is what he said. I want to read it to you. He said, I attack ideas. I don't attack people. And some very good people sometimes have very bad ideas. And if I can't separate the two, then I need to get another day job. Wow. If a man who is sitting on a court can realize good people can disagree and good people can have bad ideas, and I've got to be able to separate the person from their idea, their belief, their standards, their anything, then there's a problem. You see, the Bible teaches us in principle this. We're to love the person and hate the sin. So when a person has sin in their life, instead of looking at them differently, whether that's because of something that they're living in open sin, whether that's same-sex marriage, or whether that's sex outside of marriage completely, or whether it is an alcohol problem or a drug problem or anything like that, we don't look down on the person. We've got to love the person. We're commanded to love everybody, but we can still hate the sin and still love the sinner. And I'm so thankful that God did that for me. He still loved me even while I was a sinner. He didn't love my sin, but he loved me. And I need to follow the example of Jesus and separate a person from their belief systems. You see, there's people that we're going to disagree with. If you get two Christians in a room, you've got at least 3 different opinions. So we're going to disagree at times, but we can disagree agreeably. We can respect one another. We can show respect to one another. We can show love one to another. You see, when Jesus was asked how people were going to know that people were his followers, Jesus said, "By this shall all men know that you're my disciples, that you're my followers, by the way you love one another." See, we've got to love one another, even when we disagree. That means we show respect. That means we don't look down on, we don't belittle because somebody voted for somebody that I don't like. Grow up. We need to be Christians. We're a part of a bigger kingdom than the United States of America. I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying don't be involved in politics. What I am saying is that it's not nearly as important who I vote for as my character of who I am. I'm a Christian first. I'm a representative of Christ here on this earth. I'm an ambassador. That means my home is not here, but I'm living here, and I'm representing someone who is from my homeland, and that's Jesus Christ. So I need to do a good job at it. So, murder, anger, contempt, looking down on people, all these things are wrong. And we need to be careful as we go through life that we act like Christians. I hope you'll get into God's Word, see what He has for you. And until tomorrow, God bless you and have a great day.